Let's get to the CEO of Heineken, Dolf Brink, joins us now. Really nice to see you again, sir. Look, the headline says you're cautious on the year ahead. Is that how you would typify it, though, sir?
Hi, Steve. Good morning, and thanks for having me. Well, let's maybe quickly reflect on last year. We grew our revenue by 5.5%. We grew our profit by the low single digits. We had strong profit growth in our two most important regions, the Europe region, the Americas region. So overall, we're proud of the results, and it shows the resilience of our footprint under challenging circumstances. We are guiding for next year low to high single digit. Slightly different from how you just introduced it. We are deliberately coming out with a broader range, given the volatility that we still see globally. But for sure, we see the volume momentum improving sequentially quarter by quarter. And with much less pricing needed in this new year, we do expect our performance to improve in 2024.
Dolf, people always, I mean, look, going to the pub, let's be brutally honest about it, has perhaps never been more expensive in some ways as well. Is that being offset by the off-sales market?
Well, bizarrely, last year, actually the on-trade business performed somewhat better than the off-trade business. I think it's a reflection of a lot of that pricing that was needed due to a huge increase in our input cost. Input cost per hectoliter went up double digits last year. But gladly, we really see that coming down in the new year. We're guiding to low single-digit increases, which is materially different from what we saw in the recent past. As such, as I said before, much less pricing needed. We see inflation around the world starting to moderate. And we do think that will set us up for a very different volume momentum in this new year.
Dolf, good morning to you then. I mean, can you still pass on price increases to consumers in the kind of environment we're in now?
Yeah, I think, well, what's most important, you need to earn the right to pass on pricing, because in the end of the day, the consumer decides. And as such, again, we see much less pricing needed in the new year. We have closed our negotiations with our customer partners, particularly in an important region like Europe. So we do feel that normalcy, let's say, is returning. And that's really important, because in the end of the day, growth is our most important value driver, and we're really prioritizing this in the new year.
So where do you get that growth and perhaps margin growth as well? Is that in the form of cost cutting or perhaps regional expansion?
It's always two things. It's really driving your top line growth. As such, by the way, the name of the company is also our proudest brand, the Heineken brand. It did grow last year, up 3.4% globally, growing in almost 40 markets, double-digit growth in 20. It was growing. The brand was growing 50% in a critical market like China, now the second largest market for the brand. So one is really drive top line through our key brands in our key geographies. Brazil, a very important market that continues to do very well for us. But indeed, productivity gains are very important to really do our part of offsetting the input cost inflation that was there. And we over-delivered against our own plan. We got around 800 million euros of productivity savings last year, which was material in generating operating profit growth organically last year.
Yeah, you speak about Brazil, and I want to focus on that EM space a little bit. It's been some time since you acquired Distell as well as Namibia Breweries last year. Have those been fully integrated, and what's the benefits that you're seeing out of those markets right now?
Yeah, so very proud that Distell is now part of the Heineken company. We see good momentum on the underlying Distell brands. The Savannah brand was up mid to high single digit, Bernini up double digit, Old Buck was up double digit. So the core brands of Distell performing very well. The majority of the integration, the key integration of systems and sales force and trade terms, I think is now behind us. We're in the high selling season, and again, very bullish about the prospects of this business going forward. And, you know, one of the things that we're proud of as Heineken is our broad global footprint with a good balance between developed markets like in Europe as well as emerging markets, key markets like Mexico and Brazil, which continue to do very well for us.
Dolf, I just want to explore the African continent in a little bit more detail. I'll move from South Africa to Nigeria, and I'll add in Vietnam as well. That was where the major disappointment was in the middle of last year as well. I know that those two markets account for the bulk of the decline in beer volumes, but is it getting worse or is it stabilised?
Yeah, I think what we see in Nigeria was badly hit by the ripple effects coming out of the war in Ukraine. They're a net food importer, they're a net energy importer, so that really destabilized the economy. They have had over 70% of devaluations, which really impacted us as a business, but more importantly, disposable income of the local consumer, impacting the business. We do see that moderating, you know, in the back half of the year in volumes, but we remain very cautious because these things typically take a bit of time to kind of stabilize again. We have been operating in Africa for over 100 years, so we are kind of used to how these things evolve. What's important to say is that, yes, indeed, Nigeria was very disappointing, but another key market like Ethiopia continues to do very well for us. The same in Asia, where indeed Vietnam, a key market where similarly, but in a different and its own unique way, was really impacted in the local economy with consequences for the beer market. But another key and very large business now for us, India, is doing very well. And in the second half, we saw high single-digit volume growth coming through. So it's really, again, the importance of having a broad footprint to stabilize and offset some of these more disappointing markets with other markets that grow fast.
Yeah, Dolf, how do you then capitalize on that? I mean, you're trying to capitalize then on shifting consumer purchasing habits. Is premiumization still the best strategy?
Yes, and maybe a bit surprisingly so, that under the economic circumstances, we actually do see premium beer continuously outperform the overall beer market in the vast majority of our footprint. The Heineken brand, as I alluded to earlier, you know, firmly in growth territory. So we still believe that premiumization in beer is a key driver of top-line growth, and we are the global leader in premium and will continue to invest heavily.
Dolf, always a pleasure, sir, and we'll catch up on another occasion, I know. Dolf van den Brink, who is the CEO of Heineken. Thank you very much indeed.